Most people think wealth comes from income. It doesn't. Income is temporary. Wealth is built on assets. If you study the wealthiest people in the world, they all have one thing in common. They own assets. Not just one type, multiple. Businesses, equity, real estate, intellectual property, brands, systems. That's the game. The path to financial wealth is actually simple to understand, but very difficult to execute. You don't get rich by working harder. You get rich by owning things that work for you. So what actually counts as an asset? An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket consistently. That could be ownership in a business, shares in public companies, real estate that produces cash flow, intellectual property like books, courses, or patents, brands that command attention and pricing power, software that scales without you, even digital assets like content, domains, or platforms. Different forms, same principle, they produce. So why do most people never build wealth? Because they stay stuck trading time for money. They focus on income, not ownership. They chase the next deal, the next client, the next paycheck. But the moment they start working, the income stops. That's not wealth, that's dependency. Wealth begins the moment your income is no longer tied directly to your time. At some point, you have to make a shift. You stop thinking like an operator and you start thinking like an owner. Because the real formula to financial wealth is this: turn what you do into something you own. If you have a business, the goal isn't just to make money. The goal is to build something that has value beyond you, something that works without you, something someone else would actually pay for. Because once you do that, you don't just have income, you have equity. And equity changes everything. Now, here's something most people overlook. Not all assets are created equal. The most powerful assets today are intangible: software, brands, intellectual property, systems. Why? Because they scale. A piece of real estate is limited. A physical product has costs. But software, content, a strong brand, you build it once and it can pay you for years. The margins are higher, the reach is global, the upside is almost unlimited. That's why companies built on intangible assets dominate. Microsoft didn't build factories, they built code. Amazon didn't just sell products, they built infrastructure and systems. Starbucks didn't sell coffee, they sold a brand and an experience. That's the difference. They don't just produce income, they multiply value. And this is the hidden multiplier most people miss. A strong brand increases your pricing power. Software increases your scalability. Intellectual property creates defensibility. And when you combine them, your business becomes more than just a business. It becomes an asset someone wants to acquire. That's where real wealth is created. Most people say they want passive income, but that's not really the goal. What you actually want is permanent income. Income backed by assets. Income that continues because the asset continues. There could be a business that runs without you, content that keeps converting, software that keeps selling, investments that keep paying. You don't need 100 different things. You need a few strong, well-built assets. At the end of the day, wealth is not about how much you make. It's about what you keep and what you own. Focus on building assets, especially the kind that scale, the kind that compound, the kind that outlive your effort. Because income feeds your lifestyle, but assets build your freedom. Until next time, stay certain.